And we are live. Yay! Welcome, welcome everybody to the MumFreedomPreneurs Hangout. And today our topic is the power of thought backed by feeling. I hear my noises in the background. And, today we'll see how far we dig in deep into this topic. A lot of folks weren't able to be here today. Sarita, Gabrielle, a whole bunch of other people. We shall see who comes on, but we've got me and Michelle. I'm Valerie Jampolsky, the Abundance Mom Freedompreneur from Abundance Now. And welcome everybody to the MumFreedompreneurs Hangout. Let me see if I've got something open. Hang on one second. That might be a liar. Let me see. Okay, did that fix it? In the background. And it might be on your end, Michelle. Can you see if you've got more than one page open? Like, a lot of folks weren't able to be here today. Sarita, Gabrielle, a whole bunch of other people here to be like myself. We've got me and Michelle. I'm Valerie Jampolsky. Can you mute out yourself on your side, Michelle?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. There we go.
There we go. Okay, yeah. So we'll just take turns when we talk. When we'll mute out the other one. Maybe that'll fix it. And just go see if maybe you have more than one page open, because for the mompreneurs, because that'll often cause the echo. Is if you got more than one page open. So, anyways, I was going to say I'm supposed to get my naked kid alert. Hopefully, I'll be able to. They won't hop up into the picture here. I think they're settled in the other room right now. And I do this. I do what I do so I can be at home, with my kids instead of being stuck in an office as an attorney, which I was, and be able to travel, do things on my time, and really have conversations like we're about to have today about the way we think and how we feel, and being able to really live into our own abundance and allow it and all of that. And so I love this is the kind of thing that just feeds my soul. The type of topic we're about to have today, so I'm very excited about it. I'm going to come on over here. We have Michelle. Would you introduce yourself, and then we're going to dive right into this baby.
Yes, I'm Michelle. I'm the Comfy Mom, and I'm kind of on a mission to help other people that have gone through what I've been through in, experiencing many years dealing with my mom having cancer, and just, what we went through, and wanting to share, kind of how I came to, to heal after losing her, and also to just grow my business so I can be home with this guy, and just, be able to really focus that attention that our kids need, that he needs, just to guide him, and kind of just teach him early on, the power that he has to create the life that he wants. That's so important to me, just to really, to build his self-esteem and that confidence in himself that he can do anything that he sets his mind to. So, I have to hold myself accountable to be the best parent, that I want to be for him. And so that's why I'm doing this. And then I keep, getting inspired by everybody that we're connected with in this business. It just helps me continue to grow and learn more about myself every day, so I can be the mom that I want to be for him, and then help other people, have that awareness and that inner strength to do the same. So hopefully I can inspire, people the way I've been inspired.
It's so powerful. So, and I want to check and see, maybe if you can take a look on the page. It's hard for me because I'm hosting the Hangout, to go and check and see if anybody, anybody is shutting up where they are. Anybody has any comments, thoughts on the topic, anything that might be on the page so far. Even just anybody, just, I saw there's a whole bunch of people there. I don't know if anybody's able to hear or see us there. Can you just see if there's anything there on the page?
Yeah, I've been having some computer issues today, so let me see how this works. And then the video's open, and then it's giving us all that feedback. It was nasty.
You see anything on the page? If not, we'll just move right on along. And anybody watching this as we're going along, or if you're watching the replay, because our intention is that in time you're here with us in the now, because time really is kind of like it's a malleable thing, and And so, feel free, put your comments in even after the fact, and we'll be going in and checking in on it. So,
So I don't see anything yet.
Not see anything yet? Okay, cool. That's all right. So anyways, for this topic, and it was actually inspired by a song. I was at Agape actually yesterday, and there was this incredible artist. He did a combination of speech and song and tap dancing, all this stuff, and part of the song, and this is what really inspired me, was if you know anything about Agape, this wouldn't surprise you, but the beginning part of the song, he was just saying, thought, backed by feeling, matched by action, anything is possible. Thought, backed by feeling, matched by action, anything is possible. Thought, backed by feeling, matched by action, anything is possible. And it was just like so powerful. And it's such an incredible summary of so many different things. And I wanted to kind of like dig into that, of what that all means and experience and putting into action. And a whole other portion of the song went into this whole thing of just saying we are limitless. And I was sitting there thinking how incredibly profound it is, because I'm, for me, and this is, and again, we were just actually talking off channel before we got on live, and Michelle's going, yeah, it's this whole process of, of being able to, like, in the moment, to keep this awareness of what's possible. And that's the thing, that's a challenge. And that's, for me, it's almost kind of like the beauty of, that we're always expanding, we're always growing, we're always, the universe is expanding. We're learning how to really, experience more of who we really are. And the thing that I've watched, because this can go in two different directions. Thought backed by feeling, matched by action, can go in two different directions. I mean, a lot of us, I don't know how much we realize it, but when we have thoughts of, like, on the one hand, there's a lot of us, and we what do you call it? I'm about to reveal kind of almost like the secret missing from the secret here. So many people, they go into visualization, and maybe they do their vision boards, and they're listening to, they'll in the morning, maybe they'll listen to their affirmations, they'll listen to something positive, or they'll meditate on an experience in the present moment. They'll do all those things, right? And then during the day, 90% of the day is going down this whole negative path, right? Where they start worrying about the future and start thinking, well, let me just think about the worst possible thing that could possibly happen in this situation, and I'll be prepared for it. And that means I'm being responsible, because I am, and I've done this. I mean, I've so totally done this. I've totally done
You're speaking my language. That's been my thing to overcome here. Definitely since I've had that awareness of my thoughts. And like you said, though, it's different what the action that you're taking. You said how it can go in either way, either direction. So that's why I was even telling my husband this last night. I said, I feel like I'm in this constant battle, like the little angel and the little devil, and they're fighting over me all day, where I have come from so many years of that other type of thinking, that what if, and preparing for the worst, thinking, I'm going to have the solution to whatever possible thing that's thrown my way, because I'm so in the middle of a bunch of negativity, and my mind would just easily go there. And now having that awareness and understanding that, for me, my faith, realizing that the source of my power that lives within me, that allows me to create what I want. And so to really be aware of what I'm thinking and what I'm trying to create. Am I trying to create a solution to a problem that may never exist? Or do I want to just, focus on the positive things that I create and just shut out that negativity? Because it's so easy to let that pull you in, and that becomes your focus. And it's so frustrating, because I'm constantly using the tools and applying them, and it might be a moment to moment, or a day to day. One day might be good, one day I might think, wow, I really bombed that one, I need to turn it all around. But it is being completely aware and being at peace, knowing that power is in me, and I create whatever it is that I want. And if I don't want to worry about these what ifs, or having to plan for a disaster that'll never happen, I need to catch myself early on in that thought when that wants to start planting itself and turning around like right away, because it's so easy to just get on that and go with it. So it's definitely until it becomes more practice, or I kind of have more time out of that negative type of thinking and more in that positive time where it's more of that habit. I catch myself, but the quicker that you catch yourself and can turn it around, definitely the better. And then I think it becomes more of that natural, your natural mindset beyond that. But I know exactly, I know exactly where you're coming from with that. That's definitely been one of my struggles, but I feel myself coming out of that and feel definitely very empowered, realizing, what it is that I can create. I don't have to plan for those disasters, because most of the times we just have this wild imagination and can build something up that'll never be. But the more we focus on that, I definitely don't want to attract it. So I'll be like, no, I rebuke that. I block that. I don't want that. So I quickly start focusing on the things that I do want and putting that positive out there. So it's taking me some practice, but I know we can do it,
Yeah, well, the thing that's so powerful, Michelle, is it's like you're actually aware now, right? I mean, I know for years I was just running around oblivious to what I was doing. You're actually aware. You're at the point now where, if you go down that, I call it going down the rabbit hole, because it feels like you go down that rabbit hole, because there's a thought. And if you can catch it at the thought point before it gets embedded into an emotional feeling, which creates a vibration, which then intensifies whatever it is that you're bringing to you, right? If you can, even if you catch it after you go down that rabbit hole of getting into the emotional space, you're actually able to, the moment you're aware of it, it's like you've separated from it. And that's the thing, is you're actually doing that. So many people aren't even freaking aware. For years, I wasn't even aware. And I really, really thought that I was being so responsible by going, like you said, in like these really detailed scenarios of how I was going to handle all this negative thing, that negative thing. Well, you know what? Let's see. I don't have the money for this bill, right? Well, then maybe I could do this, and maybe I could shuffle this thing over here and shuffle that thing over there. And I'm already assuming negative things in the future, right? And getting extremely creative about how to handle it, right? Yeah. and even setting up and taking actions in that direction. It's like it sets up all this stuff. Imagine, what's really cool is in a lot of the trainings that we have, there's like detailed, instructions on how to do the exact opposite. There's actually a PDF that goes through the exact opposite of setting out your intentions, right? We do it in 90-day periods, and what we do. If you want to find out how to access that, just below. We'll tell you how to get to it. But it's like, we could do the exact opposite of, if what we attract. So just assuming here, right, for a second, if what we attract is the very thing that we're focusing on and planning for, then to me, the most responsible thing in the world is to really focus on something really powerful and wonderful, and then ask ourselves the question, how did I make that happen? Because we're experiencing it in the present. When you think about something you're worried about in the future, what are you doing? You're experiencing emotionally, otherwise it wouldn't be worry or fear. You're experiencing emotionally what that future situation feels like, as if it's happening right now, right? Your body feels it. Your body doesn't know the difference. I mean, toxic chemicals are put out. The left and right hemisphere of your brain can't talk to each other properly, and you end up living from your reptilian brain, which is like fight or flight, right? I mean, for me, that's what happens when I go there. Whereas, what would happen instead if we allowed ourselves to really, imagine, like maybe when we were little, like dreaming of a beautiful, wonderful outcome, right? And the crazy part is we couldn't even come up with that dream. We couldn't even come up with that perception unless we already have it. I mean, it's like we already have that feeling in the present tense. Like, for example, like I've talked to so many people, like I help them and I coach them, and they'll say, what is it? what's your dream? Why is it you want to, what is it that you want? And they'll talk about something, and maybe it's about being able, to go and take their, take their child on this amazing, trip, right? I know one of them really, she wants to take one of her, she wants to go to Paris. Well, actually got Rhonda doing that. She's taking Rhonda says she's taking Adelaide. They're going to Paris. Like they're headed there. But I mean, it's like to experience it in the present tense, to have that excitement, to allow that excitement, or to feel what it would be like to actually be home, with your kids and not sitting at a job, right? But to be, and not be tied to a job, so you can actually be and spend that time with your kids, right? And be able to make decisions like, hey, go to Disneyland, it's Wednesday, let's go. There's very little lines. But you know what I'm saying?
Perfect.
Yeah, exactly. To see that, though, to see it. And then, allow your imagination to go and ask, well, how, just like as you're planning for the worst case scenario, how will I take care of handling this thing that this creative bad thing that I'm thinking about may possibly happen and that I'm all freaked out about because I've now experienced it in the present moment. Do the exact same thing, except go, oh, this is incredible, wonderful thing. How do I prepare for that? Right?
Mm-hmm.
What did I do? Past tense. What did I do to make that happen? Right? What are the things that I have done so that, because thinking about how it's solved and then like backtracking the different things that you can do. Because a lot of times what people don't realize in law of attraction is that part of what's being attracted is our being able to open up, like you said, to source, right? Whatever, to that wisdom that's there, that's ever present within us and all around us. And if ever we had like a gut instinct to do something, that guiding gut instinct, that's what that is. So many powerful things have happened with visionaries that say, you know what, I have this vision. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be doing this thing. I'm going to help all these people. And then this is all the bits and pieces that I put together to make it happen. They make plans within plans within plans, always opening up to anything possible, wonderful that could come in at any moment, better than I could possibly imagine, right? But allowing that, because I think it was so cool as you talked about it, it's just like a habit. You'd created, because I did the same thing. I created this negative habit of when a thought would cross my mind of buying into it, going down this emotional path and doing this whole thing. And instead of creating this other habit.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like exercise to me. It's like the more you do it, the better. Like, are you finding it's getting a little bit easier? So like, to pull out.
What's really amazing though is when, like for instance, Fashawn did the 9 videos. She was trying, on the book E Squared, that she was doing this video series, and some of them had experiments. And as I did those experiments, like one of them was with the coat hangers, and I don't know if you got to watch her videos, but design the little coat hangers kind of in an L shape where you hold them out, and when you're thinking and feeling like that positive, like to prove that we're all made of energy, the wires positive would open up. And if there was a negative thought or feeling, they would cross and kind of close. So I would take those. And when I first did the experiment, I was like, okay, mine are just kind of neutral. And I realized like at the time of day that I was doing this, I was kind of, just kind of drained and just not really feeling that emotion. But as soon as I would, go to a negative thought, man, the things would cross like quick, crazy. And I was like, well, obviously, because this is what I've been working myself out of, is into this positive mindset. And so I started thinking about those things in the evening when my baby's put to bed and my husband and I are just kind of talking and dreaming. Sometimes we'll get on the computer and we'll kind of internet shop our life, this vision that we have, or property, where we'd like to live, and just really feel and experience like, wow, what if we had this, and what if we went here? And so we would get into these discussions, just kind of sharing our thoughts and our dreams, and just real positive. And I'd go and get the hangers, and as I would speak like my vision and these positive things, those hangers started to they would open wide up and almost where they touch me, and not just barely open, they just swing open. And I was like, wow, this is incredible. Like really proving, just that energy, how quick and responsive it is. And so I would check myself with those hangers, like kind of be like, hey, well, where am I? You really to see kind of where I'm at, to adjust if I found myself being a little bit more in that kind of negative or energy state that I didn't want to be in, and switching it over, and having those tools and thoughts to do that. And then another one was just in thinking of something simple like seeing yellow butterflies, and drawing, just putting that thought out there. And no joke, and I'm still seeing it, but every now and then, when I'm having those thoughts, when my mind's kind of drifting off, and I'll look out the kitchen window, I might be doing dishes or something, and I'm like, there's my yellow butterfly, like right on cue. And so when those moments happen, I'm just like, wow, like this is really powerful, because I wasn't even trying to put that energy out there, but I was just thinking it, and it was already there. And then I see that confirmation in, that previous intention of saying like, okay, well, I'm going to see yellow butterflies, and I'm putting out that positive energy. Or every time I think I would see butterflies, I used to believe that was my mom or an angel sending a hello to me. So the butterflies is just a positive, kind of a happy thing that I picked, just something very simple to test that theory that Bashan was doing through her series. So yes, as I've done that more and more, it has become easier and even more powerful when I do see that confirmation, and I feel like, wow, this is no joke. Like, I really have that power in me to create the effects that I want, the change that I want in my life. And so it's so motivating to keep me on that path. And like you said, with that awareness, I always stay very conscious of where my thoughts going, because I know my past experience, how quickly I can go in that wrong direction. So I'm always checking myself, and I know that over time it's getting a little bit easier, where I feel like, okay, at the end of the day, it wasn't so bad. I actually, stayed in my mind where I needed to be, and then I start seeing the manifestations of that in the positive. Like with my son, it might be something I'm trying to teach him or guide him through, and then seeing the positive results after that, applying those techniques. So it's very powerful. But yes, it's just being aware all the time and not kind of getting lazy in my thoughts. I have to really, I believe while I'm still building myself up through that and out of that negative type of thinking that it's so quickly and easy to go to, always checking myself, either just a mental check, and or it might be, hey, I'm just kind of feeling a little drained, I'm going to put on some positive audio and kind of just get centered again. Or I'll go out and do my coat hanger experiment and just be like, where am I? And let's make sure that I'm on track, because I can tell when I'm not feeling it, so I'll go out there and I'm like, yeah, and what do I need to do? And so I just start, feeling, thinking of those things that would take me to that better place, and what are the steps that I need to do to get there, and just really focusing that in a positive way and immediately. I mean, those coat hangers open up, but I feel like, this it's a funny experiment, but it's so powerful. And I've even had a few of my friends do it. And this is another quick thing, and just slightly off of me, but on my friend Susie. She came over one day, and I was telling her about that, and it got the coat hangers, and she was doing that. And she's also in massage therapy, and she's building up her business, and she was just speaking her vision. And those coat hangers, they opened up fast, but no joke, before she left my house that day, she had 2 calls on one of her ads to book a massage with her. And over the course of the week, she was nonstop. She was so busy with new clients. And that was the vision that she was speaking. She was speaking about, building her business and getting these customers in, and really what she wanted to do to help people through massage therapy. And then she, before she left my house, she's getting like phone calls for people setting up appointments. So I just thought that was really neat for her, and for her to see how powerful, like she spoke her vision. It's like she brought it to herself within moments, less than half an hour. She's getting these her phone's blowing up with people wanting to book a massage. So
that is cool. Do you have
awesome.
hangers lying around somewhere?
I do.
You want to go? You see, bring it out. We're gonna see what.
Okay, hold on real quick.
Yeah, she's gonna go get the hangers, the famous hangers, so you can see what this looks like. It's so cool. Maybe you can explain how the exercise works back. You guys can do the experiment and get the physical reaction of it. This is really cool. Let's see if I can see on the page. Oh, did you find it? Yeah.
Yeah, don't put me on the spot now, but no, it's so funny because you just take a wire coat hanger and they're kind of in this L shape and they had to put the straw at the end. So stand there and hold these and it kind of get them in a neutral position. But once you start really thinking about, the positive, like where you want to go, those suckers just start to swing open. It's so funny. Like they're doing it right now. Just the energy. But I mean, in a moment, like the one thing I was testing is when I think about my dog, like he has seizures and it's so heartbreaking to see him having those seizures. And in those moments when he's having them, see how they cross? In the moment that he's having those seizures, it breaks my heart because I don't know if my dog's about to die, if he's suffering. And that's the one thought that I first tested this with is like, wow, they're still crossed. But in the moment I start thinking about something amazing, like, living our dream life and traveling on the road and seeing family and just, living our passions, and these things would just slide out, or fly out. And sometimes they just open up and hit me on the shoulder because it can't go open any farther than that. But yeah, it's a neat little indicator, but it's such a, Vashon always comes up with these cool things. And that was just one of her experiments on the series that she did on her blog. And I found it really interesting. I'm like, oh, I got to try this. And when I saw how it worked, I thought, well, this is such a funny and fun and simple indicator, like to check myself during the day. Where am I at? And if I don't like where I'm at, I can very quickly change that and turn it around to something positive. And that's really helped me through the journey that I've been on, and just, reprogramming, changing my mindset to be more positive so I can draw to myself those things that I do want. I don't want those negative what ifs. They are scary, and my imagination gets really wild, and I definitely don't want to be attracting that stuff. So, I like to attract those things that we do want and focus, and like you said, take those steps. Because I believe that we are completely capable of accomplishing what we set our minds to, and acknowledging that power we have within us. And so that's the road I want to be on. That's where I want to stay.
Thank you so much for Michelle. And it really is the power that we have within us, or another way of looking at it is that, it's actually everything, and we're a part, we are it. It's like, it's not that it's within us, it's we're in it, if that makes any sense. That's another,
right.
It takes in the expansiveness of the connectedness. I remember my first awareness was like this idea of thinking of awareness of with all the molecules, and they're made up of electrons, and then realizing that there's, that the basis of all matter in the entire universe is actually ultimately this energy, and these invisible forces in between, right? It was like all of a sudden this thing went boom, and science, I mean, quantum physics is now, and quantum mechanics it's all proving a lot of these concepts have been around for thousands of years, which is really trippy.
Yeah.
So, let's see if we have any comments on the page. Otherwise, do we have some?
Oh, I know. Lucy just said, "Hey guys, who's listening in?" So I know Lucy's here.
Yeah.
Hi, Lucy. I don't really have any comments. Looking over here, so people
after the fact, you feel inspired, or you get this is your chance to like ask any questions about your implementation of it, or your experience of it, or anything along those lines. But yeah, getting into this is just having an awareness. One of the biggest things is it's kind of a shift to first just becoming aware, just because before you don't know what you don't know, right? And it's literally just becoming aware of the fact that, all these thoughts that are flipping through that maybe, you'd spent years buying into and believing is the way it is, and that is reality, when actual reality is not that. You've been living in this false reality. It's kind of like, I think of the Matrix. I know we get rose the Matrix, but I mean, it really is such an incredible analogy. All these people think they know what's real, but it isn't. Except the difference there is we have a beautiful reality. We're not plugged into machines, but we have this beautiful reality and of what really is. And then when we tap into it, the emotional level. I mean, it's just like anytime anybody's had that experience of it, or living from that place of just having that awareness that anything is possible. There's such a feeling of joy that comes with it. I remember I was saying when I'd work with people that would go and I'd have them, experience in the present moment what their dreams are. What really would come up is this emotion. It'd be like, okay, all right, so right now you have everything. You've got all the money. You've been able to retire from your job, and you only have to work a few hours a day on your time, and you're spending time. You're doing this, and you have the money to give to your family. You have the money to give to your charity causes, whatever it is that somebody's doing, right? What does that give for you? What does that do for you? And there's always like this emotion that pulls up, right? And the reality is, because let's say that happened right here, right now. I used to play this game with myself and say, it was like if I was Oprah and I was a billionaire, like right now in the moment, I'm a billionaire, okay? And I've helped millions of people around the world, right? With messages and ways that, Oprah's sort of, to me, she's a wonderful example. She's a billionaire, but she does a lot of good, right? She's just,
right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like those two pieces, which are important pieces for me. It's just like to go to an extreme case of saying, okay, right now, in this moment in time, if you imagine this for yourself right now, what would, if, just knowing, in your bank account, plural, wherever you got everything settled out, right? A billionaire. In this moment, here and now, you're sitting here, I'm sitting here on my couch, right? My white couch. And, what would I do? What would my feeling be? Because I could do anything I wanted in this moment in time. Anything I wanted right here, right now. What does that feel like? What's the feeling like? Because the reality is that feeling, that feeling of joy. For me, it's like a feeling of joy and a feeling of comfort, a feeling of security, a feeling of just like, and this elation that comes up going, wow, I could do anything. In this moment, anything. It's my choice. My choices are not bound by my finances. My choices are not bound by, time requirements. My choices are bound by where's my passion? Where do I feel my need to give? What's the gift that I have to give in the moment, and ideas and inspiration of how to go about doing that, and just being able to make choices based on that. And for some people, it's just being able to go to the grocery store and pick what they want because of the ingredients, not the price, right?
Right.
To be able to go to a restaurant and choose what you want on the menu, to be able to even go to a restaurant, to be able to even say, you know what, we're gonna go out and eat, to be able to make decisions, where you're going to go choose where you're going to go on a vacation, and choose the flight based on the convenience of time. Choose the hotel and the place that you're going to stay based on the amenities. Choose, choose what you give to charity based on where you feel the money's going to go, on the quality and value, not on how much you can give, or how little, or how, what I'm saying, but based on, let me take a look at where my money's going to do the most good, right? Making choices for that. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like,
really,
the feeling that comes from that space is what this is all about. And that's what we already have. That's the whole thing of this concept of abundance, and then just allowing us to take those, to keep opening to taking those steps, to allow that feeling, instead of the negative feeling, to kind of like build that muscle of that feeling of that elation, that joy, that bliss of just being. And because you can let go of all worry when you don't have to worry, but when you know that your basic needs are met, and that you can have the ability to make a difference in so many people's lives, right? It's like, it's just this amazing thing. And this can even work on the physical too, focusing on health for people that focusing on health instead of focusing on getting rid of a physical situation. Focus on the feeling of health. I know that when I get bogged into worrying about how I'm going to heal, I heal a lot slower. And it was funny because my dad's a dermatologist, and he used to tell me these stories of, you'd have two patients. They both have the exact same diagnosis, the exact same treatment, the exact same everything. One of them just knows that they're going to get better. They just know that they're healthy. It's just, they're going to do this process of taking whatever the doctor says to do. And the other one worries and freaks out.
Right.
One of them heals a lot faster, and the other one might not even heal. And it was that factor that you can't put a scientific, thing on, but he saw it happen over and over again. I remember him telling me the story when I was little, and it really stuck with me. It's like a really powerful thing. So for those of you that did what I did and was constantly sick at my job before, all the time, it's like I was like sick, and it finally started to dawn on me, like, Val, you're getting yourself sick because you really don't want to be here.
Right.
So it's just amazing. That thought backed by feeling matched by action. What does it produce? Right? And it can produce in whatever direction we choose to put it in. But I also feel that the positive is much more powerful than the negative, and it has more power. It has
right.
It does. It has more power.
Well, I know when you're making those decisions from a thriving mindset, not like what I have to do to survive, but when you're already in that thriving mindset and you believe like you have that focus to whatever you feel your purpose is, what you're called to do, where you can focus that energy on that purpose and what you want to give back, what for me, when I realized what my purpose was and how I could apply that, really changed my whole outlook on life. It wasn't just like me and let's take care of, the immediate needs and how are we going to get by and survive. It became a much bigger vision on, I already have all that I need. That's what I believe that I've been given. And it's not so much about that. I'm already taken care of, but what can I do to help other people? Yeah. And that also helps me. That builds me up, spiritually and emotionally, to feel like I'm living my purpose and serving others, which I believe is my reason for being here, that I found that. And like you were saying about health and the same thing, it was funny because I was scrolling through my posts so I wouldn't mess up the quote, but I got one of the audiobooks from Deepak, and it was on a journey to healing. Very good, and it's really nice. I like to listen to it as I'm going to sleep as well. But one of the things that he said, it stood out to me, and it said, if you want to see what your body will be like tomorrow, look at your thoughts today. Yeah. And that's really powerful because it's true. And I believe that, my mom, we had, pretty positive mindset, but I believe over time, as she kind of got those negative reports from the doctor, she allowed to take herself to take that in, and she owned that. She didn't, be like, no, I hear what you say, but I believe that, I can have this another way. And it got to her. It did after a long time. And I think, once she believed that, it was really difficult for her seeing the physical, what she was seeing in reality, in that fight with her mind on trying to believe more that's possible. And she kind of lost that fight in her mind first before her body did. I really believe that because I always kept telling her, that same power that, that we believe in our faith, that same power lives inside of us. So why would we not be able to heal from something, even a terminal illness, no matter what the doctors are saying? You hear of these miracles all the time, but what the miracle I think really is when we believe that we have that power, when we understand and own that oneness that's living within us, that same power that created the universe that we are connected with, this whole energy, this everything that we are, that same power we have to create and manifest in our lives. So if what we want is healing and health, or to be cancer free, or to not have this disability, it's setting your mind on that intention and taking those steps. If it's listening to positive audio all the time so you don't believe those negative reports. Whatever it is that you find that works for you, constantly feed that so you can continue to have those positive thoughts, setting that intention, taking the steps to achieve that goal that you want. And I believe even with healing, not just our financial freedom, but our health and in every aspect of our lives, that same power and focus could be applied to every area. And that's, I wish if my mom were here today and I had this knowledge and awareness, things I really honestly believe would be completely different. For she and I believe she would be here. I believe she would have healed out of that, because she had done that for the previous 7 years since she was diagnosed, and even all the other health issues she had before that. I think just maybe over the period of time and as often as it occurred, it finally beat her down. She let it beat herself down, but she was so strong going through it. And that's what inspires me today to kind of just carry on her legacy and teach people that, hey, this is what I've learned. I believe that this is a key ingredient to healing for somebody that has, any kind of healing that they need. It could be emotional, spiritual, physical, but that is the key element to winning those battles, to overcoming those obstacles. Don't do that, baby. I'm about to get shot by a laser gun here.
Oh my God.
Come here, buddy.
Yay.
We really like Star Wars over here, and
Star Wars
Rebels. He's gonna save the Empire, save the galaxy. Yes, I honestly believe that our thoughts are so powerful, and they do create the life, and we have to be very aware of what those thoughts are, because we can bring the good into our lives, or we can bring the opposite of typically what we don't want by just that focus and what our controlling thoughts are. So that's very powerful, and that's the message that I want to get out there to those people that, and this is what I would be sharing with my mom today. If she was in the middle of this diagnosis, Mom, this is how you're going to get better, and we're going to work on your mind, and then everything else is going to fall into place.
Yeah.
And I get into alignment with those thoughts. And so if we can focus that type of thinking in those areas where we feel lack, or we feel worry or fear. For me, my nemesis has been fear. After losing my mom, this ridiculous fear came about in my life. So most of it was fear of things happening that would result in losing somebody else that I cared about, or my own health and not being here for my child, or something like that. And catching those thoughts really fast before they build, because I definitely don't want things to go in that direction. So that's what I can share with people that will help make the difference in those lives.
And it's so powerful. I gotta say this with your son. May the force be with you. Yeah, it's like the message. Exactly. May the force be with you, right? It's really what it is.
It is. It's a life force. The energy that we're all a part of, and the direction that we want things to go, it's completely within our power. It's just believing that we have that power to affect that change. That's the miracle. The other manifestations of that is the gift that we receive. But I believe the true miracle is when we really believe that up here and act on that.
Here emotionally, yeah. I mean, and the thing is, I really have a feeling that the part of your mom's mission and all of this was to have it go down that way, because then it's such a powerful emotional piece for you that it's driving you to your bigger mission, which was not just your mom, but to reach so many other people. I think that's
well.
So go ahead, yeah.
Oh, I was just going to say, she was a caregiver to my great grandmother for several years when she couldn't live alone, and my mom worked herself down, but she loved my grandmother so much. She would always say, I'd be like, Mom, you need to rest. Because I moved to live with my mom to help my mom, because Mom was helping Grandma, and everybody just needed help. It's like, let's collectively pull together and let's do this. But I would see her, and then after my grandmother was taken care of, she was still doing stuff at the house. And I'm like, Mom, you just have to sit down. You got to rest. Your body needs break. It's just like, you know what? The verse that always came to her mind was like, there's no greater love than for the person that would lay their life down for someone they love. And I was like, okay, Mom, that's great. You love her, and I understand what you're saying, but I don't want you to have to give up your life or not take care of yourself because you're giving and caring for Grandma. That's not what she would want. But I understood what my mom was saying. She loved her so much that she was going to do anything and everything that it took to make sure she was cared for in the way that my mom felt was suitable, that was from her heart. And I think that in a way, like, in honoring her memory and what's important to me in this bigger purpose to help other people, but for her legacy to live on, is because I believe that she would have done that for anybody else too, that she would be so happy that I'm doing this, because it wouldn't just be to lay her life down for my grandmother, but that it would be for anybody that her story could affect, that could help them in their healing, or to give them that awakening moment to be like, okay, yeah, I do have that power. I believe that. And then start taking those steps to achieve what it is that they want in their healing. So I think, all the times back when my mom said that, thinking that she just meant that for my grandmother, but that really it was for anybody that would hear her story, that message would reach. So she, in a way, did lay her life down, but she loved people. And every time she was in the hospital, she would be asking other people what their story is and just wanted to help them and pour love and life into them. And she was the one who really needed it, but she was constantly, wanting to build other people up and just inspire them to live healthier and to take care of themselves and just to really focus on their healing. And that's her message, and her legacy was the whole reason why I initially, stuck my foot in the water to see what our business was about, and starting a blog, and then seeing this bigger purpose and this bigger vision through all of that. I honestly believe my mom is looking down and she's doing the happy dance, because she, knows that her story can help other people and affect lives on a global level, and not just, in that home where we were taking care of our grandma. So it's a huge,
it is. And I don't know if this story might help, but I'm feeling compelled to speak this story. So maybe this will mean something to you, maybe mean something to the people watching this on the physical side of things. I had a situation where my shoulder was broken. Okay. And I had, it was broken so bad that and it was separated as well. And the bone was, I was disfigured. I had this bone here, it just stuck up, like it just like bumped up, right? And they couldn't, normally you would do surgery on it in order to when you have a separated shoulder, and to put things back together. But the very thing that they would use to fix it was broken. So they couldn't do anything. They couldn't do surgery. They couldn't do anything. And the doctors basically, they put me in a brace, and they said, after what, it was like 3 months, I think 6 months went by, and it was like still, the bump was there, and I still had pain, and everything was kind of like out of sorts. And they had said, there's nothing we can do. You're always going to be disfigured, and you're always going to have pain. This is always going to be a mess, basically. Sorry. Right. And I had, for a variety of reasons, I had set an intention where I said, there's no way. There's no way I'm going to be whole again. My focus was being whole. And I did a lot of different things, different kinds of activities and meditations and things that I did. I was like, I am going to be whole. I'm going to be back to where I was. At least I'm going to be whole. I'm going to be strong again. This was my intention. And I couldn't do much. It was physically, I could barely move. And I remember my mom was visiting with me, and I was like lying on the couch, and I'd wake up, in the morning early, because I really couldn't sleep very well, because I couldn't even get into the bed, couldn't get in and out. And it was like I had a choice. I could sit there and just watch TV all day and just sit there and ruminate in negativity. And instead, I had the wisdom to say, you know what, I'm going to do a meditation. And I would do, before my mother ever woke up, because she was visiting, I would have done 5 hours straight of meditation, because there was nothing, it was like that or nothing, right? I mean, it was like, okay, I went intensely into this, because I couldn't do anything else. I spent 5 hours a day, and various things happened. A woman in my environment, a friend said, you know what, you really need to go to the homeopathic pharmacy and do XYZ. And so we called them and they put me on this regime, and I kept doing all these different things. And all I can tell you is I followed the regime, I followed this, and then eventually I had the inspiration to do this type of an exercise thing that you would never think I would ever be able to do. And and I got strong. I mean, by the end of this, it was like by the end of a year after this happened, I was actually stronger than I had been before. I could do 100 push-ups. You can imagine someone with a broken shoulder, and I could do 100. I couldn't even do one freaking push-up. Push-ups. I remember the first time I would do a push-up, I was on the floor laughing my head off going, you've got to be kidding me. But I could do 100 push-ups. I was super strong, way stronger than I ever was. And a couple of years later, I'd gone to the doctor and they'd x-rayed it. And they couldn't tell that it was ever even broken. You take a look at my shoulders. It's funny that I felt like I had to wait to be sleeveless for this hangout. I want you to see my shoulders. Do you see? Look at them.
Well, I think you're beautiful, but I don't see anything.
There's nothing there, right? And I have pictures. I have X-rays. I got all kinds of proof of what actually happened. And the doctors had given up. And I set an intention. And I backed that sucker with some serious strong feeling.
Yes, you did.
Emotion about why and how I needed to be whole. And I'm going to get into how whatever happened with my shoulder, but why I was going to be whole. There was no way I was going to be whole again. And I love golf. I'm going to be golfing again, right? It's like all this stuff, and matched it by action. And on the physical side of things, what was created. And for those of you that do know me, I've also used this process as well and manifested all kinds of things on the financial side. And Sarita does the same thing. Like, she has this an intention thing. She lives and breathes in the intention of this, and she has audio going all day. And then she takes action very much on instinct. Like, if you talk to her about things, she's like, yeah, I do this instinctively. She posts these really inspirational things, and she does this stuff, and it's like, she does it from her gut. She does it from her instinct. She does it from her feeling. And shout out, she's not here right now, but she was top of the leaderboards again this week. Sarita's at the top, right? And this is what she does. She does whatever she can to get her thoughts backed by her feeling, matched by her action, and manifestation, if you want to talk about that. I mean, she lives and breathes it. And you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, just giving two examples on opposite ends of the spectrum for everybody watching this, if they want to have like some solid proof. Some people need proof. I am a physical proof on something. It's not cancer, but heck, it was bones and things, and the doctors had totally given up. And and I'm not. I'm comfy. I got a full movement and everything. And I was almost about to say I'm not in pain. If this was an adjustment, instead of saying I'm comfortable, I have movement, I can do things the way I want to do it, right? It's focusing in that way. It's saying I have this, not saying I'm not going to be in debt. It's not about not being in debt, because if you focus on not being in debt, not being in a horrible job, guess what you're going to have? You're going to be stuck in horrible jobs and you're going to have debt. It's about saying I have everything that I need. I'm able to do these things. I'm making a difference. Like, for example, it's not about I'm not going to have haters, right? People, they start focusing on that. It's a slippery slope going, I am not going to have haters. It's instead of going, I'm not going to have haters. It's like I'm going to inspire people. People are going to be moved. People are going to be they're going to have shifts. They're going to have differences in their life because of something that comes flying out of my life in some way to them, right? There's going to be a shift. Something powerful will happen. It's focusing on the positive, on what and the process, it's okay. Oh, there's one last thought before we go off, is like, every single time you notice that you had a negative thought, and this is the thing, because at first, when I noticed I had a negative thought, once I became aware, and I noticed that I had a negative thought, I noticed I just spent an hour going down a negative, I call it down that rabbit hole, down that toilet, so to speak. I used to get very upset at myself. Like, you're enlightened. How could you be? Right? And I'd go down this, which guess what happens? Of course, my vibration lowers, and then I dig more deep into it. And I had this shift at one point. It was like to be excited by the mere fact that I noticed that I went there. And I don't care if you've been there for a day. I don't care if you realize that you've been there for a week and you got lost in there. To have like this, what I learned was to be able to get so excited because I noticed. Because the moment you notice, you've separated from it. You're in that absolute wisdom, love, joy source, whatever you want to call it. You're living and breathing and coming from that space because you noticed. And to get excited about the fact that you've noticed, and then even get excited about the fact that you got excited and you feel your emotions rising and your vibration lifting, and all of a sudden ideas coming to you, and get excited about that. Send that spiral going, right?
Right.
So every single time you notice you've had a negative, wham, it's an opportunity for you to be actually going, woohoo! I noticed.
Exactly.
I'm here. It's all good. I noticed. So it becomes a victory. Not something to beat yourself up over, but it becomes a victory. The mere fact you noticed.
Very true.
Yeah. So any other last thoughts? Because we're past the hour. Kind of, well, we started a little bit late, so we're kind of on the hour, but yeah.
No, well, I mean, like you said, just celebrating that awareness that you've separated yourself from that's powerful. It's so, I mean, that's the beginning of the change and the healing in whatever area that people are looking for, and that abundance, that, like you said, don't focus on what it is that you don't want, focus on what it is that you do want and how that makes you feel, and owning that in the present moment. That's going to motivate you. When you don't quit, you keep that focus and keep striving for that, you'll reach that, and it's just a constant awareness and creating that as the habit, that positive mindset, feeling that and acting on it, like you said, and it's powerful, and it'll happen. We can create our future. We can be thriving, and it could be everything that we want it to be. We just have to remember to keep that focus and in that right direction. Don't let anything stop us.
Absolutely. Anything is possible. We are limitless.
Anything is possible.
And opening up, and the key piece is to really ask yourself, what gift can I share in this moment? What can I do in this moment? To literally ask after you've caught the thought and gotten all excited and lifted up your emotional space and reprogrammed, maybe re-reminded yourself into that feeling the experience in the present tense. It's asking that next question. What did I do to get there? What am I doing in this moment? What do I do in this moment? How, and then listening to that inner instinct of what to do and taking action, even if it might not make logical sense in the moment. It's like really going with your gut as to where you need to go and what you need to be doing in that moment, in that day, whatever that is. Because it doesn't necessarily have to be logical.
Right.
Because it's like the workings of all this are so much more than are in our we use just even this much of our brain. Imagine, it's like, seriously, if you want to get into that part of it. But I mean, there's so much more that's in the invisible that we don't see, in the movement and the machinations of what leads to what, which leads to what. Just open up to it and make a point of opening up to the action, knowing that action is a piece of it, not action and manipulation of fear. Going, I'm scared and I have to figure out how I'm going to solve this so this bad thing doesn't happen, right? But coming from this place of, oh, wow, this amazing thing. This is, okay, what am I doing? What's the process of what I can do now in the process of this? And then allowing that imagination to flow into plans, and even allowing those plans to change, knowing that they are the basis of starting of the next piece, that when you get there, allowing the opening up of even more ideas and more ideas and more ideas. And that coming from that powerful place of action, not a manipulative place of action, if that makes any sense. Massive from that power place.
Right. I do remember one more thing I had thought about when you were talking about Sarita and her daily operation with and acting out of that inspired moment. And there was an audio that Amy did as well that was talking about that same thing. When she shoots her videos or puts a message out there, she's doing it in the moment that she's inspired with that thought and those feelings and everything that is conveyed through that message. And that's, what Sarita's been doing. And that is so powerful. We can do that for ourselves as well when we have that inspired thought and taking action in that moment when it's on the height of it, of that emotional and that feeling and that awareness. It's is when I think the most positive manifestation of that feeling will come in to our lives. So yeah.
Absolutely. And in that vein, I know there's somebody watching this that had the inspiration that they know that it's time to get connected and actually start taking action on their lives.
Yeah.
We're here. Connect with us here below if you haven't already. And those of you that are already in, but maybe you've been sitting on the sidelines and not taking action on what's in front of your nose, you know that something came up underneath you saying it is time, and you know exactly what that next piece is for you to do. Take action on it. You know what it is. So big hugs. Love you. We will see you all next week. And you know what? We are limitless. And I'm so excited to see what comes in. Comment, stay connected with us. See you all next week.